Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news about chickens and other fowl from the Ridgecrest Planning Commission, an update from last week's local shooting, news about our local jail, Kern County Sheriff's news, gas prices, and much more. Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Wicknick. Here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake. This is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Last week we reported about a shooting in the 200 block of South Silver Ridge. The Kern County Coroner's Office has released the identity of the victim. The victim was Daniel Olivas, 33, of Ridgecrest. He was shot on Tuesday, August 11th. He died on August 12th at Antelope Valley Hospital. The coroner reported the cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. This murder is the first murder in Ridgecrest since October of 2013. The shooter is Pedro Ortiz. He is a Hispanic male, 5 feet 10 inches tall, and about 185 pounds. He is considered armed and dangerous. If anyone has information as to his whereabouts, contact the Ridgecrest Police Department at 760-499-5100. In Kern County budget news, we have received some very good news. A few months ago, we covered stories about county budget shortfalls. It was being considered by the county to make two cuts that would have greatly affected us here in the Indian Wells Valley. They were considering changes to how the libraries were funded and or run, even considering outsourcing the support for them. It appears that idea has been tabled for the time being. And the other proposed cut being considered was closing the local jail. This would have had a huge financial impact to the Ridgecrest Police Department. The impact to labor costs of arresting a criminal would have gone through the roof. We would have had officers having to transport prisoners out of town every time someone got arrested. Overtime costs would have gone way up. This would have been a real expense for the city and also put the city at risk for the coverage when they need to have available officers to answer calls for service. So as a result of the last meeting, that proposal also has been tabled. That's good news. And in financial good news, it has been reported that the Kern County Law Enforcement Association has voted to award Greg Welfel a $5,000 reward for his help in getting the recent manhunt for Benjamin Ashley accomplished. It was his recognition of Ashley being in his store and subsequent notification to the Kern County Sheriff's Office that the man was there at his store. This call resulted in the Sheriff's Department's eventual attempt to take Ashley into custody behind the store. When Ashley displayed a gun and pointed at deputies, they shot and killed him. The Ridgecrest Planning Commission will meet tomorrow evening at City Hall at 6 p.m. On their agenda, they have the following items. First, they have a pre-abatement public hearing to abate property at 123 South Sunset Street. This is a property that has been terrible for years and years. It has 4 burned-out buildings on the property. Next, they'll have a continued pre-abatement public hearing to abate property at 336 North Albert Street. This item was continued by the Planning Commission from their July 28th meeting. Next, they'll take up a revision of the Ridgecrest Municipal Code concerning farm animals within the residential neighborhoods in city limits. The Planning Commission will consider recommending that the City Council amend portions of Chapter 20, which is the zoning ordinance, and part of Chapter 5, which covers animal control, of the Municipal Code. The changes will be regarding animal keeping provisions within the single-family residential zone districts relating to dogs, cats, household pets, poultry, and other fowl. And also animal fanciers permit requirements and procedures. This item was continued by the Planning Commission from their June 23rd meeting, and their last item for consideration will be a presentation of the preliminary site plan for China Lake Museum, proposed on Las Flores Avenue. By Laura Hickel, China Lake Museum Foundation Project Manager, will present the plans for the new museum building. This is in the area immediately behind the Mataringa Museum and takes in part of the recently built dog park. In news from Sacramento, Shannon Grove has called the Attorney General to investigate Planned Parenthood for harvesting organs from a baby with a beating heart. Assemblywoman Shannon Grove and 3 other members of the California Assembly are calling on California Attorney General Kamala Harris to investigate Planned Parenthood for allegedly harvesting organs from a baby with a beating heart. The accusations come from an investigative video released by the Center for Medical Progress. The following letter was sent to Attorney General Kamala Harris August 21st, and signed by Grove and 3 other members of the Assembly, Jim Patterson, Don Wagner, and Marie Waldron. I have to warn you that there is one descriptive section of this letter that may not be suitable for children. They write, "Dear Ms. Harris, I and several of my colleagues asked last month for an investigation of Planned Parenthood after evidence came to light detailing this organization's involvement in the trafficking of aborted baby organs for profit in violation of state and federal law. So far, you have ignored our request, but instead you have launched an investigation targeting the pro-life group that exposed this criminal enterprise. Since that letter, additional evidence of Planned Parenthood's potentially criminal behavior has surfaced from an eyewitness and former employer of STEM Express, a California-based biomedical company that provides research laboratories with aborted organs it buys from Planned Parenthood clinics. The employee accuses Planned Parenthood and STEM Express of illegally taking aborted baby organs without the consent of the mother. But even more disturbingly, this former employee accuses the Planned Parenthood Mar Montes Alameda Clinic in San Jose, California, of providing STEM Express technicians with a fully intact, late-term aborted baby that was still alive. With the heart still beating, a STEM Express technician cut through the baby boy's face and harvested the brain that was later sold to a research facility." These words are almost too horrible to write down. If true, is that not murder? Does this abortion clinic not, at a minimum, deserve criminal investigation? According to California Health and Safety Code 123435, an infant prematurely born alive in the course of an abortion has the same rights to medical treatment as an infant with similar medical status prematurely born spontaneously. You have a constitutional obligation to defend the rights of every Californian, and that includes those children who survive abortions. My colleagues and I again demand that you launch an investigation immediately into these criminal accusations. Well, let's see where this baby's life, let's stop there. Well, let's now wait and see if this baby's life matters. If you agree an investigation is required, notify Attorney General Kamala Harris' office right now. In fire news, it is reported that there is a new forest fire to the south of us. The fire started Sunday in Big Bear, close to one of the skiing resorts. The fire started spreading quickly and some evacuations were ordered. The fire services immediately deployed air firefighting support to the fire. They have 4 helicopters and a couple planes fighting the fire today. As of this morning, the fire was about 30% contained. There is an evacuation center now open for those that left their homes. Now, please stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking about the City Council's funding of the Petroglyph Festival. Welcome back. In Petroglyph Festival news, at last week's City Council meeting, the Council decided not to provide funding for this year's event. There was a request for $8,000 in cash and unspecified in-kind expenses to be covered. The in-kind expenses are generally waiver of Kerr-McGee Center fees and police department fees. It is estimated that those in-kind fees could be about $7,000. But after they agonized over the budget cuts they had to make to recover the $750,000 deficit, the Council took a hard stand about any more cash outlay except for real hard requirements. The mayor noted that she wished someone from the festival staff was there to provide information, but no one was there. Mayor Pro Tem Sanders led the effort of a no-cash funding resolution. The other facet of the opposition is that a couple years ago, the Council authorized the setup of a tourism improvement district. Staff reported that this special tax on the travelers that stay in our motels provides the RACVB about $20,000 per month income. The mayor was also a little critical that the RACVB has been holding $55,000 of TAB funds for a new billboard for a long time now, and there is no billboard yet. Ultimately, Councilman Maurer made the motion to award the $8,000 in cash, but it died for lack of second. Sanders then made a motion for in-kind only, and it passed. The vote was 3-2 for in-kind only. Yes votes for Sanders, Acton, and Thomas. No votes for Breeden and Maurer. Now news from the Sheriff's Department on how dangerous the desert can be in this heat. We all know that the high desert around us is a big draw for people to come out and do off-roading. People come out and camp all around us. The Sheriff's Department reports that George Carruthers was found deceased in open desert by the Kern County Search and Rescue Team after becoming separated from others while riding his motorcycle. He was 24 years old and from Whittier, California. He was found deceased on June 15th. He was found in the open desert area east of California City and near San Bernardino County line. An autopsy was performed on June 23rd, and the cause of death was determined to be hypothermia and dehydration due to environmental exposure, and the manner is accidental. Remember, if you go out into this desert heat, make sure and have survival supplies with you at all times, and stay in a group, and make sure others staying behind know the areas you'll be going into when you go out. That way they can provide accurate potential location information to searchers if necessary. In news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, they held a DUI and driver's license checkpoint last Friday evening. And after the checkpoint was terminated about 11:30, the officers went on DUI saturation patrol. While the evening started off very hot for the police and volunteers, later it got hot for violators. With both efforts combined, they netted numerous violators. There were about 4 arrests for driving under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. There were also a few people caught having no driver's licenses. 1 arrest was made for an outstanding warrant. The local towing companies towed all vehicles where there was no one able to take control of the cars after the drivers were arrested. The police department was supported by the volunteers from PACT, Police and Citizens Together, and the Ridgecrest Police Explorers. The Ridgecrest Police Department believes that these efforts send the message, if you're going to drink, don't drive. Now a story submitted by KZGN field reporter Tanya Pyle. She reports on a story from Walt Waterlogue in an ongoing series of articles from the Indian Wells Valley Cooperative Groundwater Management Group. He submits Article 19 from City Engineer Lauren Culp on the legal use of gray water. Culp said this has been slow in coming. He explains building codes for gray water use are gradually changing throughout the United States. However, considerable building plumbing code amendments are needed before everyone in the U.S. can legally use gray water. Gray water reform has been most active in the Southwest. California was first to establish Uniform Plumbing Code emergency regulations for gray water use in 2007. The latest 2013 UPC provisions regulate capture of rainwater. Presently, Kern County and the City of Ridgecrest permit gray water systems per the 2013 California UPC. Local agencies are permitted to adopt enabling ordinances requiring more stringent codes. Culp's example of the City of Chula Vista, which adopted an ordinance making mandatory stubbing out gray water systems for all new residential structures. The City of Ridgecrest has not waived any permitting requirements or adopted more stringent code requirements to date. Culp identified Chapters 16, 16A, and 17 of the 2013 California UPC regulates gray water, recycled water, and rainwater capture, respectively. The 2013 UPC, Alternate Water Sources for Non-Potable Applications, is most applicable to gray water systems. 4 types of gray water defined and regulate in the 2013 UPC and are defined as closed washer, simple, complex, and treated gray water systems. All of the systems are eligible for new and existing residential, commercial, and institutional structures. More will be coming on this topic in the near future. You can find Mr. Culp's full article on the KZGN-TV website at www.kzgn.net. And don't forget, the Parade of 1,000 Flags is coming in less than 2 weeks. It will take place September 5th. The parade route will start on South China Lake Boulevard by the bowling alley. It will then head north along China Lake Boulevard and turn into City Hall. All the flags will then be placed in the field behind City Hall. This is an awesome event. They still need more flag carriers, so if you'd like to volunteer, call Pat Ferris at the News Review. Call now at 760-371-4301. Now in KZGN continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here's our local gas prices. Well, since my last report last Friday, I noticed that prices went down some since then. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.35 to $3.59, Lancaster from $3.25 to $3.89, the LA Valley area from $3.43 to $3.63, and the Bishop area $3.72 to $3.99. We have one station coming in at the 3:35 figure and one station at 3:39. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay any sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Hot, dry, and breezy conditions will continue across much of the Northwest and Northern Rockies. Smoke from numerous wildfires are causing air quality issues across several states. Red flag warnings and air quality alerts are in effect. Temperatures across the nation. Carolina came in at 84, Georgia 88, Arkansas 83, Colorado 84, Arizona 98, and Los Angeles at 72. For a forecast here in the IWV, tonight mostly clear with a low around 75, west-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly sunny with a high near 99, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low around 73, calm wind 5 miles per hour. On Wednesday, mostly sunny and hot with a high near 102, south wind 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 72, calm west wind 5 miles per hour. And on Thursday, mostly sunny and hot with a high near 104, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is a look at your forecast. Now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Now Tom Eck with sports.
And a very pleasant Monday afternoon to everyone. Let's start with the Dodgers. They were no-hit on Friday night. Mike Fiers, a no-hitter for the Houston Astros. Now that was his first complete game in the last 5 years. He threw 134 pitches, only walked 3, and he struck out 10. Not only was Friday tough on the Dodgers, but also Saturday and Sunday. The Dodgers were swept in Houston. On Sunday, the Dodgers led 2-1 going into the 9th inning. Kenley Jensen could not come in and save the game, and the Dodgers end up losing in 10 innings to the Astros. The Astros now are 5.5 games ahead of the Angels. The Angels have dropped into third place, a game and a half behind Texas. The Angels also swept this weekend by the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays won easily on Friday behind David Price, their star left-hander who they acquired from the Tigers about a month ago. And then on Saturday night, the team had 15 runs, most the Angels have given up all season long. And then for good measure on Sunday, the Jays got behind 5-0 in the first inning, and then it ended up beating the Angels 12-5. They had 15 hits in that game against the Angels on Sunday. So the Angels are going to have to regroup. They're on their way back to Detroit today, and they'll play the Tigers tomorrow, a 3-game series in Detroit. Then over the weekend, they'll be in Cleveland before coming back home to take on the Dodgers in the Interleague. All right, let's talk about Yoenis Cespedes of the New York Mets. Cespedes, you might remember, as an Oakland A. Then he was sent over to Boston, then to Detroit for a little while, and now he's finally found a good home with the Mets. He had 3 home runs Friday night. Easy win for the Mets. In fact, the Mets swept Colorado all 3 games over the weekend in Denver. The Rangers playing awfully well right now. Up in Detroit, they win 2 of 3. The Tigers right now in second place. Right now they're in a wild card tie with 2 other teams. The wild card in the American League West is going to be very interesting. Not so in the National League. In the National League, it's Pittsburgh and Chicago. The Cubs, if you can imagine, are 20 games over 500. The last time the Cubs were 20 games over 500 towards the end of August was probably back when Herbert Hoover was the President of the United States. All right, Tampa Bay takes 2 or 3 from Oakland. Oakland wins on Sunday. San Diego wins big on Friday and Saturday. They beat St. Louis, but the Cardinals come back on Sunday afternoon and win. Seattle, Oakland, the Indians, Kansas City, and Arizona also win on Sunday. And the Twins beat Baltimore 4-3. The Twins in Baltimore both struggling for a hopefully somewhere to go in the wild card. Both teams on the verge right there. The Jays right now a half a game over the Yankees in the East. Kansas City 12.5 in the Central. Houston 4 over Texas, 5.5 over the Angels, as I mentioned. National League, St. Louis 3.5 ahead of Pittsburgh. The Mets 5 over Washington, and the Dodgers 1.5 over the San Francisco Giants. The West, the Dodgers or the Giants, they're going to have to win out the West if they want to get into the playoffs this year. The wild card, as mentioned, will come from that Central Division where the Cubbies and St. Louis are. Okay, Little League World Series back in Pennsylvania. Texas beats California. California playing tonight in an elimination game in Williamsport. Well, Tiger Woods made a lot of news last week. Tiger Woods in the Greensboro, North Carolina Wyndham Open had a couple of great first rounds, made the cut. It's been a while since he's made a cut at a major, and went in today on Sunday up within 4 strokes of the leader, but he had a horrible holes in the 11, 12, 13, and 14th round. Picked it up after that, but it was too late. Tiger Woods ends up 13 under, which is very respectable, but he had par on Sunday, and that's not going to cut it when you're trying to get a championship there. Davis Love the winner, Davis Love the third. What the storyline really is, they drew 35,000 people on Sunday to the Wyndham in Greensboro, a record. And who were they mainly following? Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods still has attention all over him. One of the best athletes that ever played the game. All right, that's your sports for this Monday afternoon. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Office of KZGN-TV, know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. Well, thank you for choosing us, KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And stay with us for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.